Hey friend, Roger Christofferson here again with another first listen review. Been a really good week for releases this week. I will not be reviewing Green Day, however, so you can all sit back and relax on that one. However, I did choose this one because I was totally immersed in the Doors as a young to mid-teen. I fell in love with the Doors. I've probably told the story before. But I'm talking about Robby Krieger's new band, Robby Krieger, and the Soul Savages. Geez, I had to turn the thing over real quick here. And his new album. But yeah, back to the Doors. Obviously, that's why some of you guys are here. That's why I chose this record to get it. Or record, man. It shows you how far back I'm going now. But yeah, basically, because of my friend's older brother, who was about 10 years older than us, and we could not afford records. We used to like sneak into his bedroom and steal his records temporarily, record them, and sneak them back. But I just remember him having a huge Jim Morrison picture on his wall, and so we would kind of sneak the Doors stuff. The funniest part was I remember that the Soft Parade was actually one of the first ones we ever got, which is a weird place to start with the Doors, but still did the trick. I just remember Jim Morrison like screaming, "You cannot petition the Lord with prayer." So that was one of those things that stood out in my mind. And so anyway, I'm totally immersed. We got all kinds of books and all kinds of stuff. Every video you can think of, everything bootleg of the Doors. I just still to this day actually really like that band a lot. So, however, I didn't really follow Robby Krieger or anything he's done since then. So when I heard the reviews, or people, not even reviews, just people talking about what this was going to be and saw what was coming up, what this was all about, and it kept being described as a jazz record. I was a little bit tepid about getting it because jazz is just not my thing. So basically, after listening to this, the reason I decided to review it is because there may be some of you out there who, may have been turned off by that and didn't get this, and not really knowing what it is, if it's going to sound like, the Doors stuff you liked or not, whether you should give it a listen, I don't know. So anyway, this is my take, my opinion on what this is, and, as a Doors fan, and I'm not going into this knowing anything about jazz, very little about fusion, anything like that, but I can just give you what I feel about this album. Can't even go through song by song because I really don't even know what I'm talking about when it comes to like jazz type stuff. But that being said, I didn't really get a whole lot of feeling of this being jazz because I have heard jazz music, but nothing on here really came out and said jazz to me. The feel I got was more of a funk fusion, even a little bit of a rock feel thrown in there on most all the tracks. There's really nothing that I thought sounded really jazz to me. So I don't know, that's just my first take on listening to it. What I did really love about this was the fact that it was recorded like live in the studio. It's Robby Krieger's studio, and it was him and his band just sitting around. I heard somebody say that explained that this was just going to be them just jamming and seeing what they came up with, but there's obviously some of these songs were worked out ahead of time. There's just no way that they're that. I can't believe that there's any way they're that tight that they just made some of the stuff up on the spot. It's way too tight and way too structured. And some of the songs, like some of these, there's just no way they did that. So anyway, instantly this kicks in with a cool groove. The very first song on here, Sharkskin Suit. These titles are awesome too, by the way. It just kicks in. As soon as Robby Krieger starts playing, you're like, that's Robby Krieger. It sounded just like the guitar from back in the Doors days. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. I mean, it's an honor to be known just for the way you sound as soon as you start playing guitar. I mean, there's not a whole lot. And there are some guitar players that can do that, and he is right up there with all the ones that you can identify instantly, and he did it on this one. Now the playing on this, and every single song is like that. It just has a cool groove. There's not one single song on here that doesn't groove. Every single one, and they're all different from each other. But they, like I said, it's all very similar. There's not one like single style that stood out to me. But this is me. This is like it's instrumental music. There's no singing on it. It's just him and his band just jamming, and it sounds like live, but it's amazing how good they are. I mean, there's like no bad notes and honks and beeps and hortles and snortles and stuff. It's just like great playing. There's actually got a little bit of that Hawaiian slide on some of the songs in here. He's got, what you would remember from hearing the Doors. He's got a lot of the fingerstyle picking he's known for. There's a little distortion on some of the songs. In fact, the very last song on here, Math Problem, is actually probably the heaviest song of the album. It ends really strange, but it's a really cool song. It's got a cool little distortion on it, which you don't hear probably more than I've heard on any Doors song, actually. And the song Blue Bandino's got just a cool, really tight arrangement to it. That's one of the ones I was talking about. There's just no way they just came up with that one on their own. That one's definitely worked out. And this just it just as far as I know, there's no overdubs. There's no like going back in and going back in. I tend to do that a lot, but anyway. So it's got like his bassist is Kevin Brandino, and it's got drummer Franklin Vanderbilt, and then it's got Ed Roth on keyboards. And there's a lot of back and forth between Ed Roth and Robby on a lot of these songs. They trade back and forth, and it gives a little bit of space between songs. It's okay when there's like some empty spots where they're letting each other just like breathe a little bit, and it's really amazing how well these guys play together. Maybe a little touch of blues here and there, but as far as like a first impression, this is actually probably something I'd pop in and listen to again. I actually really enjoyed it. I just remember having, Live She Cried playing, my mother like complaining that it sounded like I was playing funeral music and please turn it off, but nothing quite like that on here. But just how the songs just they just flow like this naturally, and you can hear that they're improvising because it's got a little bit of hesitation here and there, but there's like I said, no bum notes or anything like that. And all the songs are pretty short. I mean, there's nothing really long in here. All right around the 4-minute mark, or give or take a little bit. So nothing really too crazy or super extreme adventurous like you may have heard back in those days. But yes, I'm comparing a lot of stuff to the Doors because that's purposely kind of like how I'm doing this review, is for people like me who were not familiar with Robby outside of the Doors at all, and haven't listen to them or whatever. So yeah, it's just specifically geared towards you guys, or maybe anybody that's just interested at all. That's kind of how I tried to gear this one. Sorry if I just kind of like babbled and meandered, but it says in the description that's what I do. So that's what I do. I babble. So anyway, if there's anything you guys may want to add to this, or any Robby Krieger stuff you think we should check out, feel free to comment down below. And as always, like, share, and subscribe to keep the music alive. And we will talk to you guys on the next one. See ya.